Good morning, boys and girls. Today is our second lesson on making inferences. So yesterday we talked about inferences and Mrs. Holman showed you a couple of pictures. Remember, I showed you that picture of the caution sign and the man that had fallen down and all his papers were all over the place. I showed you that picture of the boy standing there with the bat, and there was that broken window. So, boys and girls, readers make inferences. And inferences can be made from what the text says, the words, and then what the text means, and that equals your inference. So, really, when you're making an inference, you are being a detective because you are looking for clues as to what the text means. And remember, we talked about text can be books that you're reading. It can be maybe a book that you're reading on the Chromebook. It could be pictures. And we talked all about that yesterday because you can make inferences about a lot of things. So when we're making inferences, we're reading the words and we're thinking about what the words mean. And an inference is something that the author doesn't tell you right out, okay? So we're going to practice that today with a story. And I'm going to make my picture smaller here. And this book that we're looking at right now is called Clothesline Clues to Jobs People Do. Okay, well, even the title, I kind of am thinking about that, so it's going to be jobs that people have. So let's go ahead and turn the page. Okay, so it says look at the clotheslines and see every clue who uses these things for the jobs that they do. And I'm going to go ahead and go to a specific one. I want to look at this one today. This is, I want you to look at the clothesline. It has some clues on there. It says oven mitts, apron, recipe for stew, puffy hat and whisk. What job does he do? So, now, the author doesn't tell you right out what kind of job this person has. So we need to use our reading and our thinking skills. So Mrs. Holman drew this wonderful picture of a person. You know how Mrs. Holman loves to draw. And so what we're going to do today is on the outside of the person, I'm going to write down what the text says. All right, and inside this brain area, we are going to draw what we think. So, first of all, on the outside, some of the words that I read. Oven mitts. All right, I know that you've probably seen a grown-up use an oven mitt. All right, I also read the word apron. Those are words that I'm reading. I also read the word puffy hat. So I'm writing that outside. That's what the person is saying. And a whisk. So those are all kind of the words that we read. Now let's think about those words. Okay, so we have oven mitts. Well, I've used oven mitts before, especially when I'm getting some hot things out of the oven. Okay, so I know that that this person's job is going to be around something that's hot. An apron. So I also think about so I'll write that in his brain. He's got a job that probably is around hot items. And there's that word apron. When Mrs. Holman cooks, I make a mess. So I don't really wear an apron, but I probably should. So I know an apron is something to keep my clothes clean when I'm cooking. So as we're writing that in our brain. So, or no, Mrs. Holman's brain is not working today, boys and girls. So when I wear an apron, I want to keep my clothes clean. So I'm going to write that in there. All right. And a whisk. I know when I want to mix something together when I'm cooking, then I use a whisk. So I'm thinking a whisk might be used for cooking. And a puffy hat. Now, a puffy hat I've seen sometimes, maybe at a fancy restaurant. What kind of person wears that puffy hat? Do you know? Yeah, I think you're right. It's a chef, right? Or a cook. So a person that has oven mitts and a whisk, an apron, and a puffy hat is probably a chef, right? That's the type of job they do. So boys and girls, we used all of our clues, our reading words to think about what that person does. So that is how to make an inference. The author didn't come right out and say, this is a chef. We had to use our thinking clues. So let's go ahead and turn the page and see. He is a chef. Yeah. So we were right to use those thinking clues. All right, we'll do one more. Mrs. Holman won't draw it out, but we'll think about it. A smock, beret, and brushes, paints of every hue, canvas and easel. What job does he do? All right, I'm going to give you some time. What does this person do? Using those reading clues and your thinking clues, this person is an artist. Did you come up with artist? Kiss your brain if you did. All right, we're going to do one more. Coveralls, tool belt, work gloves and glue, safety glasses, saw. What job does she do? Well, okay, so I'm looking at these. These are coveralls. And it's really what the word says. It covers all. So your clothes can stay protected. Oh, and like some safety gloves and a saw. And I know a saw cuts wood and a tool belt. What does this person do? Make your inference. Let's see if you're correct. She is a carpenter. Or maybe you said she builds things. Yes. So very good. All right. Well, boys and girls, so what I'd like you to do now is maybe to find a book, or you could even use your Chromebook to read a story online. And I want you to use your reading and your thinking voice to make inferences, something that the author doesn't come right out and tell you. All right. Well, happy reading today, boys and girls. Have a good day.